All right, so I am back here. We have our construction lines projected over, and we've fully defined what the outside edges of the part in our side view should be. So I'm going to take a minute here just to talk about what we should be seeing. And the relationship of the views from the front view to our isometric three-dimensional view and the top view and so forth. So recall, I'm going to bring up my drawing tool here for just a second. We'll switch this to line, and I'm going to change to some red lines so you can see. We're going to start with the front view and what we're seeing so that you can visualize this. Now, I'm going to trace over these lines in the front view so you can recognize the relationship here as we go. Now, notice we see a rectangle shape here, and then we see what looks like this little notched part out of it. So we need to recognize and see where these shapes in the front view relate to the shapes that we see in the back and what we're actually looking at. So notice this, I'll call it an L shape for anything else. We see that right here in the front view. So there we go. That's our L shape right here. So we could call this surface A, and this would be surface A. And now as I'm looking at this, hopefully you recognize that from this point here, this surface right here, when we're looking at it in this view, this is not actually a rectangle, even though it looks like a rectangle in this view. It's actually an inclined plane that starts here and ramps up to up here. So what are we seeing then with this line right here and that line right there? Well, back over here on our isometric, our three-dimensional view, that means that we are also seeing this line here, and we are seeing this line here to draw that over. And those are what we are seeing when we are actually looking at our front view and the relationship right there. So that's your front view. Now let's talk about the top view here again. Notice in the top view, I am seeing my rectangle again, the outside edges of this part. So, and I have this center line right down the middle. So what is that we're seeing over here? Well, hopefully, again, as you're looking at the isometric, you're seeing this rectangle shape right here. That, of course, is what we call true size and true shape, because we are looking directly on it at 90 degrees, or what we call a normal surface. So, and that represents this right here. So notice our bird's eye view looking directly down on it. It's the same shape. So this is true size and true shape in our top view. Now, what then am I seeing with these lines right here? Coming back over here in our isometric, that means we're seeing this line. That line right there is this line right here. We are also seeing this line, which we know from looking at this view, this line is angled. From this line, it just looks like it goes across. And then, of course, it does run parallel to this line and that line, but this line would be angled down. So this would be the high point. This goes down to the low point over there. And then we have this line coming back across. So, and that would be there. So from the top view, that is what we're looking at. So let me go ahead and erase that. So get a look at it. If you need to, stop the video so that you can make sure you're making these connections between these lines and views and edges. So, all right. So now we are looking at drawing the side view. And notice we are seeing two shapes, or we should be seeing two shapes. The normal plane is going to be right here. So let me highlight this over. So we should see that shape. And at the same time, behind this surface, behind what our viewing plane here, what we're actually able to see, if we look, our eyesight will also go back and we will also be seeing this line here as well. So that's what we have to draw in this view and represent that so that we see both of those shapes in there. So I'm going to stop the video here again, pause this so you can watch this over, and then I'll come back and I will show you how we draw those lines in the actual view. So, but hopefully you're getting those connections here and the relationship that is being established between our three different views in the orthographic projection, or what we call the multi-view drawing, and our 3D pictorial drawing, or what we call an isometric drawing up here in the corner. So